So I'm here to refute something another gay atheist said. That's his YouTube name, another gay atheist. Yeah, and it's not even about the video. Malice Rebel did that all on his own, and he did an amazing job in slaughtering your entire fabricated straw man argument, as he always does, because he is very intelligent. But you go on to say in the comment section, because someone above you said that the USA doesn't even have gay marriage, and then you go, I don't care. My sexual orientation is independent of my economic beliefs. I can petition and protest my government trespasses against me. Are you fucking serious? You actually think you have a voice in a capitalist society? Really? I mean, maybe if you were a millionaire you might, but typically, no. And I'm not saying that it's because it's an oppressive regime that teaches people that the politicians are gods and things like that, like the fabrications you have to make for North Korea. What I'm saying is you live under a capitalist society. And unless you own land, resources, labor, things, you have no voice in society. That's just the simple fact of the matter. Why would they listen to you? It's not even a matter of if they should or shouldn't, but why would they listen to somebody that doesn't own any land or resources? Maybe then, in order to get leverage, we should all own land and resources. If we all owned the land and resources, then our opinions would much more matter, because we would be in charge of production. So, if production only belongs to a few, then only a few are going to be listened to. It's just that simple, man. And this concept eludes you. You're an ultra-capitalist on top of being a minority class that is, of course, going to be targeted by the bourgeois. Not necessarily right now. I don't consider homosexuals to be on the top agenda of the most targeted list, but it could happen. That's what capitalism is about. Capitalism is about creating artificial enemies to distract the people from the fact that there is a very literal class war between the rich and the poor. So they'll use any excuse they have to. In this particular case, I would say it's Muslims. It's not gay people, not atheists, it's not anything like that, it's Muslims. And the reactionary conservators on the MRAs just want to believe it's women. Oh, women are the reason our lives suck. Well, your lives would suck anyway. It has nothing to do with women. It has nothing to do with anything besides the fact that there are people above you to command you at the bottom. The fact is, they own the land, they own the resources, they own your fucking life, and you don't get to do jack shit, and you have no say in anything. So it wouldn't matter whether or not there was atheists or gays or Muslims or Jews or women or men or anything like that. The fact is that there's a capitalist class to command the proletariat. So, you have to take away from the capitalist class. You have to take away the resources of which they use to, destroy you and to basically hold you hostage in your own fucking land. So, but I don't think you're gonna get that. Even me explaining it to you as simply as possible, you don't want to understand. You want to believe that North Korea is this terrible, terrible place where everybody is enslaved. Guess what? I don't see people running to get away from North Korea. It wouldn't be very difficult. They could get on a boat or something and get away, and they're not. It's a lie. It's always been a lie. And not as many people are equipped to come to America for all the benefits and opportunities as they want to believe. Trust me. So, I don't even know where you're coming from on this. Why target Malice Rebel at all? What did Malice Rebel ever do to you? What in your mind made you think, oh, I need to go after Malice Rebel because he's defending North Korea? Who the fuck cares? What, do you think that North Korea is going to become a threat to American security? And that we have to go to war with the North Koreans and kill innocent North Koreans because of this imaginary threat that they've built up? Because last time I checked, North Korea doesn't have anything. They don't want to do anything to anybody except for maybe South Korea for fucking with them. And South Korea is a capitalist nation. And by the way, when you say that you can petition or protest or any of that shit, you don't live in a democracy. You live in a republic. The conservatives get that much right, but what they don't tell you is that there's nothing really good about a republic. The idea of the republic is that you vote for representatives that will make the laws for you, and that when they don't do their job properly, you fire them and hire some new representatives. Unfortunately, it doesn't work very well in practice. The fact is, once they're in office, they don't have to fucking listen to you. Sure, they might not get reelected, but who cares? That's a nice 4 years of cushiness. And on top of that, they don't care what you think. They care what their lobbyists think. They care what the people that put money in their pockets think. And they'll make damn sure they get reelected if they play their game. So what you vote for doesn't matter. What you think doesn't matter. It's what the bourgeois thinks. And if you want that to be differently, then maybe you should organize with other poor people and consider a revolution. Not necessarily a violent revolution, just a revolution. You know, yes, you can change things in government, but you have to know when, how, and why. And I don't think you do. I don't think you know at all the position you are in. I don't think you know at all just how little your fellow man thinks of you, let alone the bourgeois. So you're in no position to be protesting or petitioning anything, because you seem to think that you are relatively equal in society. And I can't just make up a laugh, but yeah, I want to laugh right now, because trust me, you're not equal. And it has nothing to do with your beliefs or your sexuality or anything like that. It's because you live in a society that encourages inequality, that encourages people to have to strive and, you know, scrounge at the bottom and to work hard for fucking nothing, and to think less of their fellow human being who's working just as hard as they are, but just didn't get lucky enough to have a nice job, who wasn't lucky enough to be born by upper middle class parents so they could go to college, who wasn't lucky enough to be clean cut and professional like Mr. Rep Zion or whatever. So, you know, that's the problem. You live in a very destructive culture. You live in a very cancerous culture that purposely wants to see people fail, suffer, and die. And you're gonna fucking tell me about North Korea. No. You know nothing of North Korea, and you have a whole mess of problems on your plate, and you need to get situated. So instead of worrying about North Korea, instead of worrying about Maoist rebel, why don't you worry about your own plight? Why don't you worry about your own class struggle? Because that's what you're having to deal with. But you don't think that. You think poor people are just the result of not working hard enough. You think that, you know, people that are on food stamps and stuff are just lazy and just want welfare teat rather than, you know, this is how they survive. You want to believe that the market grants work and grants productivity, etc., when we see right before our eyes that if the incentive is money, they can't possibly have the incentive of people's interests. If I were to own capital, if I wanted to make more money, would I hire people? Would I hire people to do the work for me and then pay them a reasonable wage? Or would I cut costs? And if I'm going to cut costs, where am I going to cut those costs? People. Either I'm going to pay them shit wages, either I'm going to make them work in such an environment where they want to quit, either I'm going to ship jobs overseas so that they'll work for cheap and I don't have to, you know, worry about them protesting or unionizing or anything like that. Or maybe I'll just replace them with machines. So, yes, by the very nature of capitalism, it is sociopathic. It is misanthropic. And it can't be anything else, because it would defy the very logistics of capitalism. But all of that just goes right over your head. You just want to say North Korea is bad. North Korea is bad because I said it's bad. North Korea is bad because this website I randomly brought up on Google says it's bad. And that to you is a more substantial argument than the fact that by the very nature of capitalism, and your own life as an example, that capitalism is bad. And that there's no way to make it better. You're not going to be able to patch this shit up just because you go to Occupy Wall Street. Just because you vote Democrat this election. That's not going to fix the problem. So, I guess that's it.